All right, hey guys, Mr. West here. So what we're going to do is finish up this train assembly. First thing I got to do is go over here to my train body, and I need to make sure that this is grounded. This just makes sure that as I go in and start joining my components together, nothing's going to kind of mess up and get all wonky. First thing I'm going to do is add this cow catcher. So I just went up here and did a new joint. I'm going to select this top peg, just the outside of that top peg, and I'm going to spin it around, and I'm going to select the inside of this hole. And we can see as that kind of mated it up right up against the up the edge here. If it mates it over here, you can go back and reselect it, or just take the arrow and drag it in until it mates to that face. So once that's in, I'm just going to go ahead and hit OK. All right, that's one thing assembled. Let's do the stack next. So I'm going to do kind of the same thing. I'm going to come around here. I'm going to grab the outer edge of this component, and I am going to grab the inner edge of this hole. And voila, that is again done. So right, I can take this, move it up and down. I'm going to leave it at 0, leave it right there. All right, so next thing I'm going to do is put this hitch magnet on this hitch pin. I'm going to do a joint here. I'm going to go from this face to the bottom of this face. We're just going to click on here. I got to grab my other face and hit select. Notice how it didn't do anything at first too. So I'm going to have to go in and change my joint type. I'm going to do a slider. So what that's going to do is going to allow this to move freely on this edge. But then you'll notice too, it kind of does something weird where it like sits the bottom of this peg at the bottom. You know, right? This isn't clearly how this is supposed to be assembled. So I'm going to go to my offset Z because I know this is on my Z axis. It might be different for yours depending on your orientation, but I'm going to go through and measure it. And if it doesn't fix it right, just try the other axes. So that's the difference from there to there is what I want that offset to be. And then for some reason it just changes the offset back to 0. I don't know why it does that, but that's what it does, and that's how we get that pin or the magnet to sit on the pin right there. And then that is going to go into the back of the train. So, which I forgot to make the hole for conveniently. So, what we're going to do is go through and make that hole real quick. So I'm just going to start a sketch. I'm going to make that point. What do we got here? So it is point. I'm just going to pop that right about there, and I'm going to dimension it. So from the edge of this train to here, I need it to be 1 inch. And then from the bottom of the train to here, I need it to be 0.375. And then I'm just going to finish my sketch, and then I'm going to go and make a new hole, and I'm going to use this point as a reference. I know my diameter has to be 0.25, and my depth is 0.5. And I'm just going to hit OK. So now I've got that hole for the peg, to which now, go back home, I am going to join this peg in this hole. And I should just click OK. Notice how the magnet isn't there. If I click OK, the magnet does show up. So I am going to go back and edit this joint so that we have, so that it actually sits at the end. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball it because it doesn't want to do that in the order that we did it. We can do it with math here too. So the height of this one is going to be 0.25, right? So I need to move this. So from here, so I need to move that in 0.4, actually. That would do what I need that to do. Right, just to confirm. I should get 0.4. I get 0.4, yes. So I'm just going to go in and move that joint another 0.4. Again, your results may vary. And I'm just going to hit OK. And there we go. Now we know that that magnet and that pin are all kind of put together, assembled nice. Okay, that's that. All right, so next thing we're going to do is the wheels. So I'm going to take this wheel and I'm going to copy it. And I am going to make a couple duplicates of it. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to move this. So it's kind of in line with where we need it to be. It's just going to make this a little bit easier going forward. We have this in line here. All right, so that's where that needs to go. Move it out just a little bit more for my sake. And then I'm going to copy, and I'm going to capture position. So I hit Control V on the keyboard. I'm just going to hit capture position to paste the new wheel. You can also just right click and hit paste, or whatever. Right, so I'll just show you that again. Right, so if I go in and select wheel 1 and wheel 2, I'm actually going to select both of these. I'm holding Control on the keyboard, hit copy, and if I go over here and hit paste, I should have 2 copies of these wheels. Yes, I do. And I'm going to rotate them 180 degrees. And I'm also going to move them over so that they line up this way this time. Let's make sure I'm square. And that should be centered. Boom. Okay, so now that I've got my wheels created, we're going to go ahead and do some joints on these. So I'm going to go ahead and select this one and this one, right? And I want them to be, it's going to do this. I don't want it to do that. I want it to be kind of out still a little bit. I don't know if we have a clearance. No, we don't have the clearance for that one on the sketch sheet. So we're just going to kind of wing it. I am going to go through and make sure that we have this peg in the right place too. Because so the peg is going to have to go into the center of the axle, and then the linkage arm is going to go on that little driven bit. So I'm going to go ahead and move this over just a little bit. All right, I'm going to take this peg and I got to rotate it, so I'm just going to click that here, and I'm just going to rotate it 180 degrees so that it will fit into there. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to hit OK. I'm going to do a joint. I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to select this one. So it's going to be, there. I want this to seat in so that the threads are seated all the way in, and I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to go back and modify this joint so it sits right there. I think that's going to be about right. Yeah, that's going to be where that lands. Okay, cool. So these need to be touching basically. So that's easy enough. I'm going to go through and I'm going to do this peg. I'm just going to copy this peg, make a copy. I'm going to do it this way actually. I lied. I'm going to do here, axle peg, copy, and paste. And I'm going to make this copy over here. I don't think it liked that. I'm going to try to paste this again. Cancel. Work with me here. No, I don't want to do a hole. I want you to paste. Thank you, Fusion. And I'm just going to move this over here, 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 just so we have we can look at it, right? And then now I'm going to take this joint. I'm going to do here, and I'm going to do here. Right, and it's going to do this animation thing, and I want to set it so that my threads are in all the way, just like that. And then I'm going to do another new joint. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to make sure that it's set to be a slider, maybe cylindrical. There we go. It likes that a little bit more, except I'm going to change that position. That's the wrong arrow. Oh, come on. I want it to go this way. Thank you. And I'm going to hit OK. So now I've got those 2 wheels attached. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So again, I need to make another duplicate of this axle peg. So I should just be able to hit paste, and it'll be good. So I'm going to go ahead and drag it over here, and drag it out just a little bit further, and then rotate it 180 degrees. Hit OK. Joint, threads. I don't know why I had to click that twice, but I did. And then click that there. It's going to do the animation. I'm going to go through and drag this in. So again, it's just the threads. I'm going to hit OK. Do another joint here and here. And make sure that it's a what I don't know why it won't do. Okay, that's just weird. I'm not sure why that's doing that, but And I don't know why I don't have my offset arrows. There we go. Okay, that was odd. But we're going to go there. So I just entered a number in and it brought these arrows back up. I don't know why it did that, but we're just gonna go with it. And then actually we can also see here where it looks like we have a little bit of an interference issue, but we'll get back to that. And we're just gonna make one more peg. I'm gonna move it out here. I'm gonna move it out here. I'm gonna rotate it again, 180 degrees. I'm just gonna hit OK. Joint. Click on the threads, click on the hole, let it do its animation thing. Okay, great, thank you. Put the threads in the hole, hit OK. Do a joint, here, here. Change it from cylindrical to slider again for some reason, and then go back, and then it set the position correctly this time, so I'm just going to hit OK. All right, next thing we're going to do is going to be this linkage arm. So I'm going to go ahead and just duplicate this real quick. Right-click copy, right-click paste. And then I'm going to go through and I'm just going to move this over a little bit so it's there, and we're going to hit OK. I'm going to wait for Fusion to do its thing. There we go. I'm going to do a new joint. I'm going to select this peg, and then I'm going to select this peg. And notice how it did something weird. Because it's Fusion, and sometimes it does stuff weird. So I'm gonna, I had that selected from earlier. I want this to be a revolute joint, right? I want this to be able to spin around this. But I want to change my Z offset because you can see here it's obviously not on that pin. So I'm going to measure it. I'm just going to select this face, and then I'm going to select this face. And then now it's going to offset that exactly the right amount. And I'm going to hit OK. I'm also going to come over here, and I'm going to do a revolute joint for the same thing. I'm going to select this one, and then that one. Okay, good. That's what I wanted to do. I'm going to hit OK. So now I can take this and move it. Now, of course, I've got some weird other constraint going on there that is not correct. And I'm just going to make sure that that stays where it's supposed to stay. So I'm going to go over back into here. I'm going to do a... Actually, I'm going to change this joint. I'm going to go change this to a... There we go. And I'm going to change that to a revolute joint. Hopefully, yes, that'll fix that. Okay, so then now, that's that. I need to fix this joint, turn that into a revolute joint, and then now theoretically, there we go. So that's going to constrain that. So I got to go back and edit those. Those need to be revolute. I don't know why I was thinking they needed to be cylindrical. There we go. And I'm going to change this into a revolute joint as well. And then I'm going to change this to a revolute joint. And then I'm going to go back up here, and I'm going to change this. Edit joint. There we go. Sometimes that works. And I'm just going to make that revolute. Let's try this one again. I'm going to go click on this joint, and I'm going to do edit joint. I don't know why that didn't work earlier when I tried right-clicking it. I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to go click on this other joint that's in there that's also cylindrical joint. I'm going to edit that joint, and I'm going to turn that into... Wait, that is revolute. Are there two joints in there? No, this is the other joint. There it is. Right-click, edit joint, motion, revolute. Okay, so now, theoretically, this is going to be less messed up. Still going to go back and add the peg, but that's going to be real quick. I'm going to go through and do this again, do this joint to this. And again, I need to set my Z offset because I need to set my Z offset and then hit OK. I'm going to want to go ahead and rotate this wheel so that it's like in a normal spot. I'm going to do joint this to that, and I'm just going to hit OK. So now I can drag this up and down and move those around. Yeehaw! All right, let's go back home. All right, so now the last thing I got to do to make this train fully assembled is duplicate this axle peg, or the linkage peg, excuse me. We're going to duplicate that linkage peg. We're going to do copy. We're going to do, you know what, no, I'm going to move this one first. I'm going to set this constraint. We're going to go join. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to grab inside of this. And I'm going to do my Z offset measure from here to here. And ta-da, I'm going to hit OK. Now we're going to go through and copy this linkage peg. Copy. And we'll just do a quick paste. I'm going to capture my position. And I'm going to move this over. And I apparently moved it up a little bit. Oh, whatever. We're just going to hit OK. I'm actually going to back it out so I can do that constraint. Joint this one. Snap to this one. And it did that one automatically. Okay, good. I'm going to paste again. Go over here. Rotate it 180 degrees this way. Do my joint on this one and this one. And again, I'm going to have to measure my Z offset. Measure from here to here and hit OK. And then I'm going to copy this one because it's already in the same orientation just to make my life a little bit simpler. And I'm going to just kind of, it is on an angle, so it's going to be weird. And I got to move it like it's a triangle. But that's fine. I'm going to pull it out just a little bit so I see it. And then, come on, Fusion. Thank you. We're going to go ahead and do this joint here to here. Do my Z offset again from here to here. And just hit OK. And there we go. That is a fully assembled train. So we can go over here and see all of our parts lists, right? So we have train body 1, train stack, hitch magnet wheel, axle peg, and that's the assembly. That's everything put together. So I'm going to save this milestone, and I'm going to call it assembled with an exclamation mark because I'm happy that I'm done with this. And I'm going to hit OK. And there we go, right? Fully assembled train. Yeehaw. So, as always, stay safe, stay healthy, be kind, take care of yourselves, and stay hydrated. Deuces, gooses. I want this to be revolute. And it doesn't like that. Cylindrical, maybe? Can I do revolute? Oh, yeah, I can do that. Okay. It's... Why? Why have you done this? What happens if I hit OK? Oh, that's mad. That's big mad. Why are you big mad now? You weren't big mad earlier. Let's try this again. Will you let me click on it? Normally you just double click it, but Fusion is being very uncooperative today, so to a revolute joint. And I'm going to change this. I'm going to change this. And I'm going to change this. And I'm going to change this. Oh my god. I am... God, I can only imagine, like, what are you, like... I would not be happy if I was doing this on an iPad right now. I can tell you that, because it would just be working even less than it currently is. Fusion. Help. Fusion pulls.